so I've applied my Laura Mercier primer all over my lids, and I've applied it all the way up to my brow bone. Now I'm going to use my Illamasqua Liquid Metal in Rapture, which is a really gorgeous coppery colour, and I'm just going to place that onto the bottom portion of both lids. Like that. Now, once I've done that, I'm going to place the TKB Trading Aztec Gold, which is this colour here. I'll just show you what it looks like. Make sure it's down. So it just looks like that. It's a really gorgeous yellowy orange gold. And I'm just going to use my fluffy brush from H&M. I'm just going to get a tiny bit of that onto the brush. And I'm just going to place that onto the lid. And I'm just going to do it in patting motions. So I'm just going to place that all over the lid and not placing it in the crease. Okay, and now that I've done that, I'm just going to go into my MUA shadow in shade 19, and I'm just going to use the same fluffy brush, and I've dusted off the pigment from it, and I'm just going to get that and place that into the actual crease, just above that gold, just bringing it up slowly. This is just going to act as a base for the next colour that I'm going to be placing. I'm just going in 2/3 of the lid. I'm going to use my MAC shadow in Embark, which is this one, and I'm just going to use that to further blend up to my brow bone. Now that I've done that, I'm going to go into another pigment, and I'm going to be using Crucible Red, which is that one there. It's a maroony kind of red colour. And I'm just going to use what's in the lid. And I'm just going to be placing that in the actual crease and in my outer V. And just blending that where that dark brown base is. Okay, so now that I've built up that colour to a depth that I'm happy with, I'm going to go back into the MUA shadow in number 19, and I'm just going to place that in the outer V just to darken that up a bit. And I'm just using an angled brush from the Becca Cosmetics and Travel Kit. And it's just a jet black. So I'm just going to make sure that's on the bottom. And I'm just going to use what's in the lid, which is a very small amount, but the colours are very pigmented, so I'm hoping. Okay, now that I've done that, I'm going to use that same brush, and I'm going to go into my Vivo Cosmetics bronzer. And I'm going to be using Sunkissed, which is shade 1, which is this one here. There you go. And I'm just going to go into the lighter veins. I'm using that same H&M brush. I'm just going to push that directly beneath my brow bone. And then I'm just going to go over that with shade 2, which is bronzed, and it looks like this. And this has more of a yellowy orangey tinge to it, and I've been using this as a highlighter recently. I'm just going to push that over that colour. Okay, so I'm going to place a highlight colour in my inner tear duct. I'm just going to be using TKB Trading's Echo. I don't know if you can see that. I'm just using what's in the lid, and I'm just going to place that in my inner crease. And just blend that up into the forged gold. This is a gorgeous, like, iridescent colour with like really blue undertones to it. Okay, so I'm just going to line my waterline. I'm using the Benefit Badgal black liner. So now I am going to just line my lower lash line as well. Then I'm going to use my angled brush from Royal Langnickel, and I'm going to be taking that same Crucible red, and I'm just going to place that on my lower lash line. Okay, now that I've done that, I'm going to go into Aztec Gold, and I'm going to do the exact same thing with my inner corner. With the inner corner, with the inner portion of my bottom lid. I'm just going to pick up some of that pigment on my angled brush, and I'm just going to gently place that. And blend it slightly into the Crucible red using a smudge brush. So now I'm going to line my top lash line, and I'm going to be using the e.l.f. liquid liner, just like that. Okay, so now that I've put on that liner, I'm just going to go back into the TKB Trading pigment in Carbon Black, and I'm just going to get that onto my angled brush, and I'm going to push that on to where I have placed the liner, just so that it's an absolute total jet black liner. Okay, so now I'm going to put on my mascara, and I'm going to be using the L'Oreal Voluminous Million Lashes, which is this gold one. So I'm going to put as many layers on as possible to get my lashes nice and thick. Okay, so now I'm going to put on the rest of my face, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, so now I'm going to highlight my face, and I'm going to be using the Vivo Cosmetics Baked Bronze in shade 2. And I'm just going to take in my blush brush, and I'm just going to place this on the tops of my cheeks. I'm just going to pat that on now, just to highlight. I'm not going to be wearing a blush, I don't think. Actually, maybe I should. I'm just going to quickly highlight down the center of my nose as well. I'm going to go into the Me Fire Eyes Quad, which looks like this. Now, I did a review on this about 6 months ago, and I'm just going to swirl the brush into the orange, pink and the burgundy colour. I'm just going to get a tiny bit of that and swirl that together, and then I'm just going to tap off the excess and I'm just going to pat that on to the apples of my Now that I've done that, I'm going to line my lips with the Sleek Kohl pencil in Mossberry. This came with their holiday pack. And now that I've done that, I am going to go over that with the matte lipstick in Cranberry, number 748, and it just looks like that.